said, I can just see your interest in history with the markers, the photographs, all these other things. He said, I have something that I thought might be of interest to you. So he told me, and I said, it would really be of interest to me. And so we asked Professor Levy and John Lovett to go over to David's home to examine what is under this this covering. And David, why don't you come up and tell us what you had, what you thought you had, and then I'll ask John and Professor Levy to come up. And David was kind enough to have taken care of this object for a long, long time, and he was kind enough to offer it back to the university. So, David, I'll let you come up and tell the story.
Well, I'm glad to be here. And different from the other people in this panel who are very distinguished professionals, I am a person who maybe was at the right place at the right time. I like to think that. I guess I'm going to try to tell a short story if you don't mind. In 1966, right after I graduated from high school here at Norfolk, I had an opportunity to go and work for the university. You could call it the university, and we called it the North Base. It's a bunch of North Campus. At that time, I'm not sure there was anything in the way of teaching out there. There may have been, but it's just where I worked. I think it was out there because there was room. I think we had 3 or 4 trucks and maybe 15 people that worked during the summer, and half a dozen that were there all year long, real grown-ups, you know. And like any place, they don't want to pay you when you're not doing anything. So usually we have things to do. They don't want to pay you when you wouldn't. So our boss would find things for us to do. Well, there's a warehouse out on the North Campus. It's still there, much to my amazement. And one day in 1966, they sent a crew out there to begin with to dust desks. And there was probably, I'm going to say 20 desks out there in this old warehouse. Didn't have very few windows, very dark. It was built in 1942, I've come to find out. Anyway, as we were dusting these desks, I ran across in this obscure as the best word, a part of this warehouse, this, it was a piece of granite about 2 inches thick, 22 inches wide, and 24 inches or thereabouts tall. But it had inscriptions on it that were, it's going to catch your interest. It said 1892 at the top. And then below it, it said Regents. Well, I didn't know about you, but when I was 18, I didn't know what Regents were. I didn't really have appreciation for them I do now. And below that, it said A-J-S-E-A-Y. Say, is that how you say it? Anyway, I didn't know how to pronounce it then, I don't guess I know how to pronounce it now. But, and then below that it said Kansas. So I really didn't know what it was. I went on about my business. The second year, 1967, I came back, worked my second year there. Once again, we go out to this old warehouse, dust, straighten it up, do different things. It's still there. And my memory is a little bit cloudy, because when I talked to Dr. Boren, I was thinking it was laying on the floor. In psychology, they say your first memory is probably right. So it probably was laying on the floor. If it wasn't, it was on an industrial type of shelf, sitting on that. At this point, I remember it both ways, so I'm really not sure. But what I did know is that was a stone with so much character. What's it doing in this old warehouse? What is that, 5 miles from there? Sitting in a dark corner. Well, I didn't know, so I asked our crew chief. And he said, you know, I don't know either. It's probably a cornerstone off an old building that they tore down to build a new one. What I do what's been as long as I have. It was lost in time, I think, is what President Boren and I decided. And, you know, I picked it up, I took it home, I've had it since 1967, except for the time I was in the Air Force. It's been in my possession. In that brief time, my brother-in-law tried to scratch a peace sign into it. That's a little history too. But I had that stone has moved with me to various parts of the state until in October of 2012, I was doing some little research on my own, and an amateur story, not like a professional gentleman here. And my wife came out. She's an OU graduate, College of Nursing. And she said, I got this, I think you might like it. Well, she got it in 2011. It was the history, the 100th anniversary of the College of Nursing, I believe. And on that, there's this, very much like that one, except it had a bunch of shrubs, few shrubs in front of it. There was a David Ross Boyd planted that wasn't very big yet. And it said Territorial University, Norman, circa 1897, 1898. Well, I'm not Einstein, but it didn't take too much for me to figure out, whoa, because as you see a wider picture of that, there's nothing else around. That is the university. I've never thought like that. And I've never heard of Territorial University. But I was 90% sure that what I always call the cornerstone belonged on that building. I was also determined, I immediately thought, this has got to do with the university. And my second thought was, it's going into the hands of President Boren. And I didn't want it to end up someplace else like it had been for my house, a cornerstone for 40, I'm sorry, an end table for 45 years. So I knew it was going to be definitely President Boren. My wife and I walking the campus, we appreciate all the beautiful things that you all have done in the history, which is so relevant. Then my question was, how does a regular citizen tell President Boren about this story and get a face-to-face conference with probably one of the busiest people on the planet? I didn't figure that part out. But I do vote, and I encourage all you to vote. So when I went to vote, 3 people in front of me doing just like I was and nothing else. President Boren, he was there to vote. No politics, he's voting. Well, I thought, I've got to talk to him. And then I thought, I can't talk to him about this in front of all these other people. So I committed, I'm going to find a way to talk to him. So he went on up to the voting table and got his stuff. I'm behind him a little bit. And then I turned around to go sit down, and we nearly ran into each other. And he extended his hand to shake my hand, and I don't remember all of it, but I said, President Boren, if you have a minute, I think I have some information you'd like to know. And he didn't give me a minute, he gave me about 15 minutes, and it was very fun. And it couldn't have been any nicer, because I'll tell you, some people would have thought, what are you doing with this historic stone? He viewed it as preserving history. I view it as, what's this old stone just doing out here in the north face? And I'll tell you what, everyone, we're very glad it's where it belongs, back to your university family. So, thank you for letting me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, David. We really appreciate the fact that the coffee table is now back. The stone that made the coffee table is now back with us.